I'm Odette Nyiramilimo. I'm born here, up the hill, and as you found me here, I spend most of my time here. I'm 68, almost 68 years old. I was born 1956. So end of July, I'll have my 68th anniversary. I'm married, a mother of 3, and I have 5 grandchildren. In our family, we don't have many girls. And from my marriage, I have 2 boys and 1 girl. So I'm a very lucky woman. My husband, who is Dr. Gasasira, is also very happy. He's not here today because he had to go to Kigali, but he keeps coming back when I'm here, and I also go to Kigali. As I told you, I'm a medical doctor. I don't think I told you that before. I was trained as a medical doctor, and I practiced gynecology for many years. After practicing gynecology, I was hired by the American Embassy to be the Peace Corps medical officer in Rwanda and in some other countries. I worked also some months in Kenya, in Gabon, in Burundi. That was before genocide. Now, after genocide, because my husband and I, we had opened our private clinic, which is called Le Bon Samaritain. I practiced there, and I was appointed Minister of State for Social Affairs at the beginning of 2000. After 3 years and a half, I resigned from the cabinet to be a member of Senate. I'm one of the people who started the Senate of Rwanda, and I'm very happy to have been also the first elected senator, together with Dr. Iyamuremye Augustine. We were both elected by the Forum of Parties before the general elections. So we worked together to read and know what is the Senate. So we really started it. When I had done a bit more than 5 years in the Senate, because our term was supposed to be 8 years, I was elected to be a member of YALA, East African Legislative Assembly. Then I was there for 2 terms, which means 9 years, because the first term was shorter, was 4 years. We joined, Rwanda joined East Africa when the parliament had already started. That's why our term as Rwandese was the first time 4 years. When I was finishing my career as a member of YALA, I thought of what to do, because I had the age of retirement. I was 61 years old, and I thought, because when I was mostly in cabinet and I was in charge of social affairs, I really felt we have to change the minds of people. We have to get rid of poverty. And I found the people here, which is my village, had remained in that poverty, and they had no one to teach them to get out of poverty. Of course, when I was either in Parliament of Rwanda or even when I was in cabinet, I kept coming here many times, teach people on how to get out of poverty. but they didn't listen much. I worked closely with Professor Kubwimana, who was also in the Senate. We taught people on how to grow bananas and on how to grow pineapples, on how to grow different fruits, but they didn't do. So I said, now I have to go back to my village and start something there, try to help the people get out of that poverty. So that's how I thought of building the hotel here. Because I had thought of having a hotel in Kigali, not here. I had even started construction. I had permit, I had put foundations in Kibagabaga, but I decided I stopped this and I go to my village. Now it is here from 2017. We are working. I have more than 30 regular employees, and I think we are trying to do something good for tourism, for teaching people on how to grow things that we need in the hotel. And we also participated in helping people in need, like teenage single mothers. We have many teenagers here who got pregnant, mostly during the COVID period. So together with the priests at the parish of Kinonu, we created a school for those girls. We teach them a career, and so we are really trying hard to help people, to help the youth. And also we created another organization of women up the hill, where women can do some art crafts. They also learned on tailoring, and so we think that we are trying to really give back to the community here. I chose to invest into tourism. I can tell you that when I was in the government, the president has hired people who came from America. I remember the head of that company was called Fairbanks, Mr. Fairbanks. He came with a team, and we were asked to go to Milkolini Hotel. That was the only big hotel in Rwanda. And we were given, I could say, lessons of how to develop. The members of cabinet, the secretary generals, the permanent secretaries at that time were called secretary generals, and some other heads of institutions. So we were in the Milkolin for about 1 week the first time. Another time, I think it was again 1 week, where we would go there every morning and we take notes and we learn on how other countries have become rich. They've invited people from Mauritius, from many countries, from different countries, from Asian countries, the tigers, who came to talk to us on how to get rich, that we had to improve the teaching, make sure every child goes to school, make sure that agriculture concentrate on things that can produce, and make tourism, because Rwanda is a beautiful country. We have volcanoes, we have this beautiful lake, we have many other lakes, and we have hills, which are also beautiful, and we have forests, and most of all, of course, we have gorillas. So I thought, if we invest in tourism, we can become rich, but we can also enrich people around us, because the people can feed the hotel and can learn from all those people coming from other countries. And so it is something that can be spreading around. So that's how I thought of tourism here. But I also thought of tourism because I traveled all these East African countries. We were mostly in Tanzania because the office is in Arusha, but we traveled all over East African community. And we used to go by buses. We could go from Arusha to Dar es Salaam, spending nights everywhere we pass, or from Mombasa to Nairobi to Kampala, and I could see many small hotels. That's how I thought of tents. You've seen tents here. I have many tents, and tents that are saved, because sometimes we have 100 people who sleep here, while we have only 18 rooms, but we have many tents. So I thought it doesn't ask too much money to build even a hotel. We can only use tents, we can use local materials, and have something beautiful and attract visitors who will bring money and who will give job to youth. So that's how I thought of investing in a hotel. But I also started, because I remember you asked me why Rochelle. Rochelle comes from Rusheshe Élevage. How did it happen that I chose that for the name of the hotel? When I was in Yala, I wanted to have a cattle, to have cows, because some people kept giving us cows. You know, in Kinyarwanda culture, when you like someone, you give a cow. So people gave us cows, but we couldn't keep them because we didn't have any land to keep them. So my first salaries in Yala served of buying a land not very far from Kigali, in a place that is called Rusheshe. And Rusheshe is in Masaka. From the central town in Kigali to go to Rusheshe is only like 8 kilometers. It's not 8, maybe 18, because of the whole road before reaching there, because it is in Masaka anyway. So I bought land there, and I started having cows, all the cows that we had been given to be kept in Rusheshe. When we had cows, I thought of also start planting fruits, mostly the mangoes and vegetables. And I started growing many things, including chicken, rabbits. And so it became a real farm. But selling was a big issue. But I didn't know how to sell really, and I wanted to sell like the vegetables in the supermarkets, even the chicken or rabbits. But I found they were giving little. One day I had given a lot of vegetables full of a pickup that I had rented 20,000, and when I filled it and I sold it to a supermarket, I was given 47. So I found this little, because my profit was not even 7,000. I had paid the people who cultivated, who helped me harvesting. And when I received that money, I went back home in the evening and said, I need to have a hotel and bring all what I produce in that hotel. So the people will be using milk from my farm, will be using vegetables and fruits. And so that's how I started thinking of creating company. And I wanted to include the whole family. I called my 3 children, my husband, and we sat together. They laughed at me first and they said, but Mama, you do so many things. How will you now start a hotel? I say, I will start a hotel because I can't be cultivating and give my produce for free. I need to be serving things that are organic in my hotel. And I wanted the name of the company. My daughter, who has a master's degree in communication, asked me, how did that idea come to your head? I say, because of the produce that I brought to the supermarket, I was very unhappy that I was given little money. And I think if I have a hotel, everything I produce will go to the hotel, and the quality and value addition, I'll get money from it. So she said, okay, now the company comes from Rusheshe. Yes, and what is the produce that makes you anxious, really, that you are losing it? I said, the milk. I was selling it 150 a liter in the farm. While in the town in Kigali, it was 400. So 150, I felt it was really like just giving it for free. So I said, I bring all those things, and it is mostly the milk and also the meat and whatever that I can't just sell for cheap. And so my daughter said, well, what if we call it Rochelle? So there is Rusheshe Élevage. So I said, okay, let's take that name, Rochelle. And any American will call it Rachel. Any European speaking French will say Richel. And any Kinyarwanda speaking will say Rusheri. So everybody will call it that name much easier. So that's how the hotel is called Rochelle. And the company is Rochelle Group Limited. The most challenging work I've ever done was being a minister. First of all, I'm trained as a medical doctor, as a professional. Now just moving to politics was not very easy. I think I worked well, at least according to comments I was hearing, and I was working very hard. But there are things that I found very hard to me. Yes, there were many challenges, like in that ministry of local government and social affairs. Most of time, I was even taking the whole docket myself, because sometime the minister who was the late Nyangwi, at that time he was ill. Now he passed on. He was sick many times. He was very ill. And so I will be doing my work and his, which was not easy. But there were many challenges. It is the time of transition. We had to go from the transition period to now to the democratic or the regular government period. And we had to create that decentralization. The decentralization was not an easy work, where I had to learn myself even on how to introduce bills, and we worked together with many people, and really I worked very closely with Honorable Musoni Prote, who was the Secretary General, and the team in the ministry. We worked together very, very hard to put in place all those bills, to go to defend them in Parliament, and they've been many changes in our country during that time, and I'm very proud and very happy to have been in the cabinet at that period. But of course there were many challenging things where sometimes you felt, I wish I would have done this instead of this, or we both, like the Secretary General and myself, we wanted to make sure that Rwandans changed their mentality as quick as possible. They were not changing much. And I remember also an activity that I tried very hardly. You know, we had these refugees, these Congolese refugees in the camps. And I was so sad to see children grow in a refugee camp in Giumba and in Kibuye, in those two big camps. I kept visiting them very often, talk with them. And that period was the period when the North Kivu in Congo, where most of them came from, was under the RCD Goma, with those new, I could say, administrators, because they were, the government was not really governing that part of Congo. And so the people who were responsible, Ruberwa, Bizimakaraha, I remember them, we worked together mostly during that period when we had volcanoes eruption, because I was coordinating the aid of all the refugees who had come from Goma. So we sat together many times in many meetings. So we, and I asked them, now, since there was peace in that region, why shouldn't they help their brothers and their families who were here in refugee camps to go back? Because the refugees wanted really to go home. So I discussed with the refugees themselves in the two camps. I kept discussing with the people in that East Congo. And then we decided of the period where we move all the refugees. Talked with the UNHCR. The UNHCR agreed. And I even talked to Sadako Ogata, who was the head of UNHCR. She completely agreed. And we started organizing departure of the refugees. We gave them even the tents that they had used to cover the small shelters in the camps, and we hired the buses. We gave them whatever we could give them to go. But arriving there, they were not helped to go back to their villages. And they have been kept in camps again. In those camps, nobody cared for them. So they came back. They returned to the original. I almost cried. I said, how is it possible? we did all this effort. Of course, I had brought the decision and the idea to the cabinet to have their blessing, and we had the blessing. They said, okay, you help them, they go. And even the Onatracom, which had the buses, had given the buses. And so everybody was helping to take back the refugees in their homes. But after 2, 3, 4 weeks, they were all back, and we had to rebuild the shelters and to find again more wood and what. Anyway, that broke my heart, and it's like I felt, what was I doing? So that was I could tell you, the biggest challenge in that work. But I had also told the people of my party that I will not be more than 3 to 4 years in the government. I wanted to go back to medical practice. I felt almost like I have betrayed all those women who came to see me, who I was treating, mostly the survivors, all those women who could not say what happened to them to any other doctors. So I wanted to go back to medical practice. And so I had decided to resign anyway and go back. When again the president and the leaders of Liberal Party, my party, sat and decided, no, we can't let Odette go to medical. We have to convince her to be in the Senate because she knows the politics of these countries. I think they thought I was capable. So after I had resigned, I planned to resign, I was elected to be a member of Senate, even at my absence. So I said, if they think really I'm more helpful to my country being in the Senate, I accepted. Of course, I had accepted to be in cabinet, so there was no reason I refused to be. It was not easy because I had become poor. When I was practicing, I used to have a very good pay, but in the cabinet it was like working almost for free, and now in the Senate it was almost the same. We had started building our first house in Kigali, but we had really stopped even continuing it, and we could try to complete it with a big loan that we contracted, but it was very, very difficult for our family that I had stopped. But I felt if that is helpful for my country, okay, it's okay. I can accept to be a bit poorer for a short period, but luckily enough, I don't feel poor, and I hate poverty, and that's why I always do whatever I can to make sure we never become poor, and also my surroundings get out of poverty. What I want to achieve in the 40 years to come, I want to have developed, first of all, Rochelle. Make sure that we have a very beautiful facility. Make sure that our staff are at the level. You've seen that this place is very far from Kigali, from even the towns of Gisenyi, of Kibuye, but it is developing. You see that peninsula where you see many houses. We have 5 lodges there, 1 hotel and 4 lodges there. And all these people started because of Rochelle. Most of them, they are my nephews and nieces. And another one is was born there. And so they came because Rochelle is here, they have where to lodge, and they can start building, and they want also to develop something. And we are still encouraging people to come and buy land and develop. And so I want to see the town of Kinunu. That's really my wish. And what I can achieve is just continue, develop Rochelle, make sure our staff are well trained, make sure that we have more rooms. We have a meeting room. That's the project for the near future, to have a meeting room, to have a beautiful reception, to have maybe another 10 rooms to add to 18 we have, because many people want to come here for the retreats and they cannot because we don't have at least 25 rooms, so we need at least 25 rooms. And Rwandese don't like tents. Most of all these tents you see here, only Europeans like them. Some youth also will sleep in tents, but the majority of Rwandans, they don't like tents. So we will develop this more, but for that I need to have also my children be more involved in this, because of course they have their own jobs, they have their jobs, but if I can have one to help me, because it is difficult at my age to mostly follow what is happening globally and advertise globally. That is the most challenging issue. At the beginning, I learned to do it and tried, but I've decided this is too tiring for me, and I want also to retire and take some time for me and travel. So I wish that one of my kids come here and take it or have a good manager. I talk of my kids because I've tried with the managers, and I think they come here to retire, not to work. I've changed the managers maybe already 5 times. And they come, they enjoy the time, they learn how to swim, and they enjoy the good weather here. But try to also do the hard work of a hotel. It's not there yet. Maybe I didn't choose the best managers. If I can have a very good manager, I can also take more time for me and write a book. That's what I also want to achieve. I've the title of the book, I have already many titles because I've started in French and I've started another in Kinyarwanda. But the one in Kinyarwanda is Abakera Barazutse. That is my family, because I'm the most happy to see that even if there are not many people who survived genocide from my family, but those who survived are doing well and married and have children, and even their children now are marrying. And so it's something that encourages me to be still happy, alive, and I can tell you when we say twibuke twiyubaka, I always remember my members of family. But I say, now where you are, you need to see us grow. We don't want to be crying, but we need to grow. We build ourselves. So that's something that I continue to make sure of, make sure the children that grew up now in my family or with my extended family always be growing, not declining, but also my region here. I want to see it developed. For all the youth, I want to tell them they first need to all know and understand where we come from, what we went through, and put in their minds that this should never, never happen again. And for that, you can't just say it. You have to work for it. We every day work for it. I told you I have about 30 regular employees here. I can't tell you this is a Tutsi or this is a Hutu. What I know is that we just hire people who come. There are even who committed genocide, who were in prison. Those ones, I know them. But we hire them. We want them to repent and to make sure that they are not teaching that hatred they had in their hearts to their children and grandchildren. It is something which is not easy. But if we can do it, when we know what they've done, I think every young person growing today, even when you are born after genocide, but you know all what we went through. It's not because we are stupid that we live with the killers of our families, but we want people to change. At least we want the youth to change. If a young person is born from the killers, that young person needs to know why it is important to know that life counts, that neighbor has to also be respected as a neighbor, and the people have to live in harmony. There is no reason to be hating each other. When you live in harmony, you live closely together, you work together, you achieve more. So that is the first lesson I want to give to young people. Now to girls. We hear everywhere. I thought it was here that girls were being impregnated in their teenage age. It is too sad, because when you get pregnant at 15, 16 years, even when you stay at school, of course, today we've even put in laws that no girl or boy, even if they accept the child is there, should be expelled from school because of a pregnancy. No. The girl has to remain in the class like everyone. But of course the teachers should be talking to the others, to her, to make sure that the others don't follow the same example, but that girl child should not be chased from school. But when she has to take care of herself, of her child, how will she continue her school up to university with the responsibility she has? It is a very hard situation. So that poverty, I told you, you need to be fighting against. And me, I fought against poverty up to today. And when I feel my accounts are at zero, it's like I say, no, I need to find money. There's no reason. Because I would say if I get sick and I can't even be taken from here to Kigali in a helicopter, for what I will have worked for the whole life. But I tell you today, if I'm sick, maybe the government will help me to do so, but I will not be able because I invested all the money here. But my husband is the one always telling me that we can't take all the money from the account because we might need it anytime. So you have always to think of tomorrow. Think of tomorrow. If you are 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, you can't just feel I'm under my parents' wing. You have to be feeling my parents are there, but they might not be there tomorrow. It happened to many. So at any age, a child has to think of tomorrow and talk about it even. When you talk about something, you have already started achieving it. I want to give you like a joke. When I was in secondary school and I saw my elder sisters giving birth almost every year, 7 children, 8 children, and I felt really like, how is it possible? How can you be giving birth every year? When you buy a car, where will sit your children? And so it's like, I was convinced I'll buy a car. And they laughed always. You see, Odette, she's thinking of buying a car, and she doesn't even have shoes. And I said, but I will have a car. And I was thinking of the small vehicle coccinelle. So I'll be seated on the front and my 3 children on the back. So I've decided that I'll have 3 children. When I was still in primary school, I thought if I have a car, we have to fit, because I have seen only 5 persons can fit in the car. So I grew up having that idea of having a car. And I told that to my sister, and they all laughed of me. And they were like, how? So I think you have to dream. Every young person, you have to dream, having a better life, having a beautiful house, having a beautiful car, having beautiful cows, yeah, or a beautiful land of plenty of fruits. So it's when you don't dream, you will never achieve anything.